Technically today what is 171 because yesterday was 170, but we had a bit of a nightmare yesterday. The contractor, Waymark Construction, is not actually doing anything on the job, as you guys have been watching. He actually doesn't turn up, doesn't have all the materials. We're pretty much doing everything ourselves now. The only thing he does is transacts money from me to his men for the work they've done. But last week was the first week that he said he couldn't pay the guys again, so I had to pay him twice. And he assured me he was going to keep that money for this week, and he didn't. So on Friday night, all the guys were here waiting to be paid. He didn't arrive, didn't have any money. So yesterday and today, we've been trying to get the money up together, get everyone sorted out for the work they've done. Most have been very understanding and have been brilliant. A couple of them obviously got quite prickly and quite irate, and rightly so. They've been messing around with their money. So yesterday I didn't film anything because we only actually had 3 people in. But what we did do, which I will show you, between 3 guys, Beckles, the supervisor, Andy Green, the legend, and Charlie, they managed to get this puppy done. So the rebar was finished off on Friday. As you can see, the double caging going on, 2 lots of rebar going right through. That's to physically stop the vibrations I told you about. And then they made all the formwork, pulled all the lines, and actually got the formwork in. So the formwork and the steps are all done now, apart from obviously just fixing in the very bottom jacks to keep the actual pressure from the concrete. They're all done. So they stayed yesterday, fair play to them, and they got that finished. But everyone else was a little bit irate, a little bit pissed off, obviously, of not being paid, and rightly so. So they didn't hang around, so I didn't film. I also find out today that Mr. Fields has got a gambling problem and has also been spending money last night. So didn't pay anybody yesterday, the day before yesterday, for their money, and also was out gambling with money he said he didn't have. So well done, Wayne. Hopefully you're watching this. And anybody on the island that wants to trade with somebody to build a house, reference the living hell out of them before you give them any form of work. Because most people tell you what you want to hear. What I can tell you from a reference is that Wayne Fields is a nice guy on the surface, but then will literally make sure that your money doesn't prioritise your job. And then as a result of that, you'll do what I'm doing, which is running the job, liaising with people direct, and unfortunately sacking him. So until he gets his shit sorted out, I certainly wouldn't recommend Waymark Construction. But anyway, all of that to one side, we still have stuff to do this week, and we're going to take control of everything, including the salaries now, and all the people, and we'll drive this job 100% ourselves, which, without being rude, for the last 2.5 months, we've been running 95% of it anyway. As I say, apart from processing 12 to 14 payments on a Friday night, we've been doing everything anyway. So we've still got to get the septic well drilled, but that's proving a bit difficult at the moment because there's only a couple of people on the island, and due to Cal Williams, what they call him, he's passed away in the last couple of weeks, and one of his companies did that, so everyone's in a bit of a go slow there due to respect for him. So we need to get someone to do that, so that's one thing we do need to do. We also need to get down here sorted out with regards to the base. Being dug out now, so it's just a case of working out what base we're going to put in there in order to concrete. So we have to put a little bit of BRC in there, I would have thought, and then we'll get that poured at the same time as this is poured. But in the meantime, we'll get this boxed up today, get all of these block holes poured, and get that little concrete element there poured, and then get that plastered inside as well. So that's ready to go, and then we can pour the concrete in here when we're ready. I will try and see if I can get somebody to pour concrete on this before Saturday and Sunday next week. But at the moment, Ready Mix are due to pour that at the same time as said roof. So there's no real pressure to get that done sooner, but I would like it done sooner just because it makes the Saturday easier. And on top of that, the steps will cure in a very short period of time, where we can obviously use them to come up and down the building. The swimming pool, obviously, that's got to be done as well. That's got to be finished off. So we're waiting for a beam to be made. That'll be done tomorrow morning. So the beam itself is going to land up going in the front. It'll be about 24 inches. Then it'll be boxed up. We've got to do the same here as well. We've got to chase out here all the way along, and we've got to put a ledge in here to stop the water going off the side. Got to do the same over there. And as you can see, the boxwork itself is the same height as that rear piece. So this side piece and this piece here will be the same height to stop the water going off of here and off of here. And as you can see, the boxwork at the end is about 5/8 lower, so the water can flow off the front. We actually have the pool man coming here at 11 o'clock today to have a good look at what we've done and what we need to change. And I'm sure he'd advise what we've got to do down here as well. So at the moment, we'll probably put a 4-inch beam on here all the way around. And from that 4-inch beam, that will be blocked in and tied in as well. So it was going to be a 24-inch wall, which is what that is now. But I think obviously with the extra depth we've gone down now in the pool, which is about 10 inches, we need to be 10 inches higher here. So I would say that needs to be a 10-inch poured top. That's what I would do. So, and at the same time, we've also got to, there's a gutter that's in here, which he's going to cut out. That will take water from the pool into here, and it will go down through a gutter, and it will come out here into the trough. And the trough itself on the very front, it's got a round circle on it. I don't know if you can just about see it. Just. That round circle is the pump, and that pumps it straight back into the room over here and comes back out through these 6 jets. 2 here, 2 here, and there's actually 2 submerged in that tomato soup, oxtail even. 11 o'clock to advise what we've got to do with that. The one thing I am going to do in a minute, I'm going to go down to the basement because I've had the plumber reconnect up the mains pressure to the building to check that in the last 2 months there's been no damaged pipes or not this or not that. And there's quite a bit of water in the basement. Now we have had a lot of rain, and I'm assuming it's full up down there because of the rain we've had. However, it does seem to be quite a lot of water down there for the rain we did have. So I'm thinking there might be a leaking pipe that he hasn't actually spotted. So I'm going to get the guys down there in a minute to go around every single one of the pipes to double check there is no leaking, because if there is, that's going to cause us a bit of pain. Well, I say pain, it just needs to be sorted out, but obviously the pain is we've got to get the bloody water out now. I can't see, with the amount of protection we've got in here from the roof, I can't see the level of water down there coming from the rain we had through the roof. So everything in here is damp. As you can see, it's still drying out. But yeah, it's still quite dry in here. Compared to the amount of rain we've had, it's actually not that bad on the floor. So, but down there is absolutely soaked. When I say soaked, I would say it's probably a good inch thick down there. So I'm not too sure how we've had that level of rain downstairs when we haven't had it here. Obviously, the rain finds its way to a weakest point, so it could have been that the water on the floor here did find its way down there. But I'm getting the sneaky suspicion that maybe this is also down to one of the pipes actually leaking and letting water there. So I did ask the plumber, once he connected up, to physically go around and check that there's nothing leaking. But again, in the flat over the road, there's actually a tap. I found that tap leaking, so it was on, so I just turned it off. But obviously that just did proof that he's not walked around and checked that there's no leaking. So we need to get that looked at sooner rather than later again. And again, anything on the floor that's in here at the moment, obviously because it's been damp in here, we've got to try and pull up. And the downside to that is, as you can appreciate, there is feet everywhere with formwork, so there's nothing to be done with those. But to give you an example, pulled that one up. So the concrete gets damp. If it can't breathe, then it gets damp. So we need to go around and try and pick up anything we physically can that's going to keep the floor damp. I don't want the floor to be damp if we can help it. Other than that, that's pretty much where we are so far. Today we are trying to plaster some of the walls outside. 2 labourers are having a good clear up at the moment to make sure everything's done. We've finished off the steps, that's pretty much done apart from the jacks. So down here, I think, which is under a certain level, we're plastering with a waterproof plaster. That's what will be under soil. So this will be under the ground. So anything under that level we're getting done, because we need to try and backfill and do. And anything obviously that's rubbish we're collecting up and trying to sort out and get centralised. In an ideal world, I need to find a way of getting a lorry to come and pick up a lot of the scrap we have. As you can appreciate, there's scrap everywhere. So they're going to be clearing all this up today. And out the back on the beach, which again is easy to dump because obviously it's just straight out the windows, we've now got a bonfire pile. So again, we need to go through that. There's some 4x4s there which are decent. We need to keep those. 2x4s decent, some boxwork decent, a couple of sheets of ply decent, but a lot of it is crap. So we need to get all of this down here, all of this sorted, and we need to get rid of a lot of it. So that's one thing we need to try and do today if we can, try and sort out anything that needs to be removed or sorted or taken away, so we can try and have a good canvas to work with come Saturday when the pour happens. Other than that, there's no other plastering that needs to take place in here. It's mainly going to be outside. So it's scratch coat first. So what I'm actually doing is things like this wall here. This whole wall here is going to be plastered, so I'm trying to get it on the camera. This L shape here and the other end here, they're going to be plastered white. The beam is going to be plastered white. So anything we can get to where we can scratch coat, because what we have to do is to get a plaster finish, you do a scratch coat first, like we've done in the pool area. Yeah, you put a scratch coat on first, and then I've asked them to source white concrete. I don't want grey concrete and then painting it, so that's what they're going to do. They're going to scratch coat everything. This whole building has got to be scratch coated. So I'm going to get the actual masons on a price. It works out about $8 a square foot, I think it is. So I'm going to work out how much needs to be plastered and get them on that sooner rather than later. So that's one thing we can definitely start doing during the week. Charlie's up on the roof at the moment. He's going around and putting 3-inch smocks in front of all the beams. So he's going to need the, I always forget what they bloody call it. It's a big steel bar, basically. I mean, we would call it a crowbar or a, but they call it something different. So yeah, they need to get that. He needs to get that pulled right forward, get the smocks put down in front. So anyway, Sunday, won't be a full day. I'm sure they'll get some productive stuff done. And that's it for now.